Okay, Trey, you look ready now, yes?
I am. I've got
Okay.
the print going. I've got.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right. Let's
I was polite and paused my printer.
Oh, this is a different printer, and I can't pause my printer. I got too much shit going. Ah! God damn, that's bright.
What happened there?
I turned another light on. Usually, I
Oh.
just have this light that I just turned on.
Well,
that
usually,
makes me
like you turn the
glow.
overhead lights on. Usually, you're sitting in the dark with just like the
right,
the
with
desk
just
lights.
this on me.
Yeah.
Now I have this one on me and the overhead lights on.
Ooh, fancy. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's episode 30 of the On the Button podcast. My name is Wes. I'm here with Ian and Trey as we come to you every other week here to talk about all things Star Wars Unlimited. Boys, how you been doing? How is life treating you, Ian?
Working.
Dude, you have been gone. We had to check to make sure you were still alive this week.
People were asking us if you were alive. They were like, "What's with Ian? We haven't seen him."
Man, it just came up such last second. Somebody got sick. She got the flu.
Sucks.
I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
And like I basically begged everybody, but like I had one employee who's out on PTO. I have another one that was at a funeral that day. So like the pool of people to like save me got smaller and smaller. And when the realization came that I wasn't playing cards Tuesday night, I was like, I just pouted. I worked and pouted. Yeah, worked and pouted. I did go to one hell of a crazy wedding. I know the last time we talked, I was talking about how I was going to a wedding. Man, it was a disaster and awesome.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Okay.
Ready? This is a list of things that happened. They had these water vases that were full of water and a little tea light candle at the end of each row so that when they walked down, it looked really pretty.
Okay.
Problem is 4 of them fell over and broke. So you had water and glass going everywhere.
No.
4 times. Held up the wedding start 4 times.
Oh, no.
Then
Did they not stop to consider that people had to like walk in front of them to get to
no,
their seats?
clearly not, because as people were walking out, you could hear them breaking again.
Oh my
So like
God.
that, it was a disaster.
Oh my
During the ceremony, the following 2 things happened. The groom lost the rings. So there was a 15-minute delay while he went and found the rings.
What? During the ceremony.
And then
It's not
during
his job
the ceremony,
to keep track of the rings. That's a best man's
That's
job.
the best
Then-
man's job.
that's what I said. The best man lost the rings.
You said the groom.
You said the
but
groom.
Fair
But
enough.
that's
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. The best man
got it.
lost the rings.
We got you.
Wow. You are
and
fired.
then-
You have one job. You fail. You are fired.
That's not even the worst. They got to the part where the bride was supposed to say richer or poorer,
Oh no.
and the pastor asked her to say it 3 times. She didn't say it, so they just moved on. She never actually said it. So that was kind of interesting.
What is happening?
Then at the wedding, at like the reception area, they decided to use a smoke machine during the first dance,
which meant you couldn't see
about-
anything.
No, about 15, 20 seconds into the first dance, smoke alarms go off. Whole room's blaring.
Oh my God.
Whole
that's
room's
amazing.
blaring. Whole room's blaring.
Oh my God.
After that, it went off pretty well. I mean, it was still a really nice wedding. It was really interesting, all the disasters that happened. And then at like 3:00 in the morning, both myself and the wife got really bad stomach poisoning from the food. So it wrapped up.
What a perfect ending to a perfect day,
yeah.
Ian.
The best part was
Oh my
you know, the wife and I, we always have a conversation somewhere after the first or second drink we each have on who's driving.
Yeah.
And the bar line was pretty long. My wife was smart. She got 2 drinks at once. So I come back from getting my second drink and I sit down and she's like, well, I'm on my 3rd. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm driving. And she just takes my...
Now she's on her 4th.
Now she just blocks you. You're like, nope, you're done.
Yeah. She just takes my drink and she's like, well, I guess I have 4 drinks now. And I'm just like, oh. But overall, it was a really nice, really pretty wedding. But like, it was just like,
You know,
man, it just like... like I've been to a lot of weddings and they've gone
Man.
really smooth or they've gone really bad. Like I felt like mine went pretty smooth. My friend Katie's I went to, hers was like the best wedding I ever went to. It's like
There's a
total
recurring
nerd.
theme. There's a recurring
Total
theme in
nerd
this
fest.
podcast of your wife outsmarting you constantly.
that is
Oh
a
yeah,
problem.
all the time. Yeah. Wow. I mean, anybody who meets us as a couple instantly knows that she's like 1,000 times smarter than I am.
That is
it's
true.
like,
it didn't take me long to figure that out. That's fair.
She's like if you cartoon wise, like she's the Roadrunner and I'm Wile E. Coyote. Like no matter what I do, I will never catch the Roadrunner, and I will always be outsmarted.
Okay.
By the simplest things. Here's a
Okay.
sandwich. Oh, sandwiches.
Okay, then there you go.
So
Wow.
yeah,
I'm
it was really fun though.
I'm still hung up
Interesting
on the
wedding.
vows thing. I don't think I'm ever going to get over that.
Yeah,
that is
nope,
that
that's
is that is
I mean,
that is something that you go over with the officiant before you stand up there, so that you know what you're supposed to say and you agree. Like you've signed up for that before you get there. That's bizarre to
my
me.
wife was at a brunch or like a after work happy hour. They were at happy hour
Okay.
on the about 8 days before the wedding. And the amount of things that still hadn't been done yet was a mile long.
Wow.
So it's not really surprising that these things weren't worked out. When they went with like traditional plus vows. So like, there's a section of vows, you say ritual report, blah, blah, and it ends.
Yeah.
And then there's like another like 5 or 6 lines that most people
Okay.
don't do.
Like the second verse of the national
Yeah,
anthem.
like the groom, yes.
That nobody ever sings because nobody knows it.
Even the groom didn't know that he was still talking to him at that point. Like the groom stumbled up on it too, on the vows too.
What a mess.
But like
That's
even I
amazing.
was like,
This is
even
amazing.
it took me a couple of seconds when he said it. I was like, oh wow, they're going like
I
full vows, like they're
I
going
would-
Catholic vows.
I
Like,
wish I had video of this. Trey, what about you, buddy?
there is a video. Oh my god, I
Oh,
gotta get the video.
you gotta send me
I
the
didn't
video,
even think
buddy.
about that. There's a video.
You gotta
this
send me the
podcast
video.
is supposed to be about Star Wars cards.
I know.
But we have rapidly
I
devolved
know.
into
That's why
horror
I'm-
tales from Ian's life.
That's why I'm trying. That's why I'm trying to segue the conversation elsewhere.
Wait,
Oh,
we
sorry.
haven't
Completely.
spoken to Isa Ian in like 2 weeks.
That's the
since
problem.
last one. I don't
Yeah.
think, and like
Yeah, I
we
don't
get to
think
hear
so.
these stories now. So
Yeah, that's the problem.
my life is much more mundane. Like I got
Same.
I do a lot of 3D printing. I've been for like this entire week. I've got this one 3D print that I've been cranking out. That had an order. One of my friends, her son is an offensive lineman for the local high school football team, and she's in charge of the merch this year. And so have you seen the people, like the fans that are at games that have the giant turnover chains, like the giant logo of chunk of plastic for like the Astros or the Texans or whatever, with a big chunky chain around their neck? Have you
Oh
seen that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's getting me there. The whole offensive line, which is 20 people, is getting ready to go to some contest, and
You're
she
making
ordered
the
like
big.
I'm making them turnover chains customized for the offensive line of Kingwood High School, and it's just
Wow, that's a lot of
to
work.
get it done in time. I've just been like cranking
Yeah.
these things out, so it's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's
That's
kind
a lot
of
of
cool
work.
that I'm going to have these giant chunky chains around people's necks.
Okay. Yeah. No, mine.
That's my whole week.
Mine has not been nearly that exciting. I mean, I went to Austin last weekend and covered the PQ up there, which was awesome. We had a blast.
Thank you. By the way, I watched a lot of
yeah.
that during the wedding.
I was gonna
Thank
say
you.
that I just
Lot
made your whole wedding experience even that much better.
Okay.
I was telling people on Tuesday night, people were like, they were asking us, they were like, hey, have you heard from Ian? And I said, I heard from Ian on Saturday during the stream. Oh, really? I said, yeah, he sent me this really nice text during the stream to let me know he really liked the new bottom crawler thing and
much.
and to give me a thumbs up just on how we were doing and then from saving him from this awful wedding that he was at. So but no, that was a blast. Great event. I love working at Game Castle. The judges there and the staff, they start on time. We were done. We finished at like 7:30. I think Heather and I loaded and we were in the car rolling out of there at like 8:40. We went to the other end of the parking lot, had dinner, and then we were home. Like it's such an easy experience casting up there. And I gotta post this on my Patreon. I set up my phone camera on a stand and filmed us doing setup of the studio and the table so that I can do some time-lapse videos to show it. But we did setup in about 90 minutes and teardown was almost exactly an hour. Like I've done this enough now. Like it just, it feels so good. I love doing it. And working with Josh Snyder is just one of the best in the business. for calling games. I love working with him. He makes my life. He makes the whole production sound better, and then I can focus on making the whole thing look good. And the end result is almost always really spectacular. So that's been kind of my big thing. Other than that, I just working and building decks. I lost track of the number of times I saw a deck at that event that I was like, I have to build that. Oh my god, that looks like fun, right? Like even Ian called me on it. He tags me on Discord. He's like, how many decks do you have to build now? It's like 7, isn't it? Like, so we had a great time doing that. So let's talk about that, right? Like we're now several weeks into PQ season. Atlanta is coming up this weekend. Big premier sector qualifier in Atlanta. First major tournament, first major like national level event of A Lawless Time about to occur. We've got a little bit of data to work from. Several weeks of PQs now. I mean, we have data, but what are you guys seeing that jumps off the page at you and like screams, "I am the big bad boogeyman of A Lawless Time right now"?
Boba.
Boba Fett, pilot
always
Boba,
the
right?
Fets. Yeah,
Pilot
always
Boba.
the Fets.
Not baby
yeah,
Boba.
Pilot Boba. It has the answer to most of the questions of other decks. The indirect damage just puts so much pressure. It's really interesting how like a card like Fet's Fire Spray really became like, wow, it's just a freaking amazing card now when it was like subpar last set. I felt in that Boba deck when I played Boba Green. I think a lot of decks have made counters to it, and it's totally eliminated Luke. Those counters have eliminated Luke almost across the board. His win rates are just horrible.
Luke's win rate
everything.
is his conversion rate into the top 8, and then once he's there, he just doesn't make it very far. If he makes it,
he just can't make it very far.
He just
Everybody's a lot of the decks, like a lot of people that play ground strategy, are putting some stuff in to counter Boba, but it just eliminates Luke. I don't know. I think the Vader JTL isn't bad. The space decks are just really good right now.
In general,
there's some good ground decks though. There's some good ground decks. Talzin's Reds I like a lot. I think that's an interesting deck.
Talzin Yellow still exists, still a thing. Still
yeah,
good.
Talzin Yellow. I think it's a little bit. It's so hard for me when I build a deck right now and not build around an aggro because it's the only upgrade removal. Like it's so difficult. Like
it's not the only, it's the most reliable.
What's the other one?
If I capture a unit, the upgrade goes away.
Trey, your mic is muted.
Yep.
I was sitting here trying to get a freaking word in, and you guys are just having a conversation.
I can't.
I have no idea how my mic got muted.
Again, what do you want from me, my friend?
Nothing. Notice the little blinking red light right here.
Oh, I get it. So I have to manage my tech and yours at the same time. Awesome. Wonderful.
I mean, don't you do this professionally?
I didn't know. I do it.
You have a
I do it as a
Patreon.
hobby.
Okay.
Go ahead, Trey.
I played Boba online. It's fine. One of the things I don't usually, one of the things I say in this podcast a lot is I don't do a lot of meta. I don't play in a lot of tournaments like the big tournaments, the PQs and whatnot. It's just not that interesting to me. But I have been poking around with them. I don't have any plans to go play with anything, but I wanted to find like a good deck to play just because they're all new and interesting to me. If I had to go play something today, I'd probably go with Vader Yellow. Just because the number of because it can win just kind of out of the box, and it would be, I'm old and I'm really smart, but I don't have as much brain juice to do it as much as I used to. So I playing several easy matches means I could save up my brain juice for the few times that I do have to think really hard, and I don't have to slog through the whole tournament. So
the pumps in Vader, like it's just get out a pump.
You just play kind of plays itself.
Galen or so. It's
well,
just get a pump out.
Right. So there aren't a ton of pumps available. Galen is one, right? But Galen is also really only a pump if you've got a lot of units on the board. The card that we saw people using in Austin, Luna was on that deck in Austin. Talking to her, talking to some other people up there that folks are kind of latching onto now is Corporate Warmongering, right? Out of set 6, which is a 4-cost green-black event. I'm pretty sure it's 4 cost. You give +3/+3 to one of your units, and then you give +1/+1 to every other unit on your side of the table. So that's just a solid, put 1 or 2 of those in the, one in the main, 1 in the board, and, see how it goes, that kind of thing. I
do think that the aggro on the ground is completely dead. I just playing decks that I played against in the meta, the green white Sentinel stuff. The green white Sentinel stuff is just too. It's too delaying and it's too big. The guy that's 4/5 that heals your base.
Okay.
The ease with what
he's talking about Typho.
Yeah, Typho.
You got Typho. Between Typho, Obi, Lando, and Sintakaz are probably the 4 big ones in the 3 to 4 cost
Sintakaz and
range.
yeah, that's right. And they're just, even if you can get through them, you have to basically add their health to the health of your base.
Yeah.
And the ground cannot get there. So I think all the aggro stuff is in space. I like to play control because it just feels good, but I'm usually actually better at playing aggro, and I can't get there with any aggro deck on the ground right now.
Okay.
And I was like a week ago, I was winning a lot. I found a was it a Saw Blue deck, and that was a lot of fun, and I was able to pull a bunch of wins out, but not now. Anytime anything with green and white in it that is going to throw something on the ground that I can't get through, and that's a lot of the decks that are out there right now. If you're playing on the ground or with force or anything like that, you've got Captain Typho or Sintakaz or something like that out there.
I disagree a little bit that ground aggro is dead. I completely understand your point about the blue green white Sentinel situation, right? In the sense of one of the matches that we featured last weekend up in Austin was Obi-Wan Virgins Temple on one side of the table and Vel Sartha Data Vault on the other side of the table. And the number of Sentinels that these guys played was absolutely silly. I think each game, each player played at least 3 Sentinels, if not 4. And at least one game, one of the guys put out like 6 or 7. He saw all 3 of his Landos. He saw 2 of his Typhos. He saw us. Like, it was crazy.
There's just too much to chop through.
Yeah,
for ground aggro.
Right. I don't. The Obi Virgin's Temple ended up winning that match, but it was by no means an easy win. And watching the Obi Virgin's Temple deck, I realized why it had legs, because it plays like ground aggro even though there's no red in it, because you're just outvaluing your opponent so quickly. And it was fascinating to watch Vel Sartha play into that because, Vel wants to give you, like her thing is, I tap, I give you a credit, and then I get an experience token. But giving credit tokens to Obi-Wan Virgin's Temple when his first round play every single game as a Jedi Consular is terrifying. And Garrett had to play very cautiously around this line a couple of times. He did draw into Tamarin Barcona at least one game, which was a great card in his deck. But it was a really interesting matchup to watch. We had some Yularen decks in the field on Saturday. I don't think any of them finished above 13th or 14th in a field of 64. So I think 4-2 was probably about as best as they got. It's
incredibly tight right now.
It really is.
All the games that I'm playing, I come down to the aggro decks that I've been trying to play. They come down to, can I get that last hit in?
Yeah.
And I can't. And then they play Yoda and I lose.
And you lose. Yeah. You're done.
You're done. Yeah. Because you lost 2 guys and
they healed 5
for whatever reason. And they healed for 5. And the game is just over. There's no coming back from that because you had to chop through so much that stuff. So, but I'm just feels like I'm so close to get there when I do play those decks.
I agree with you that math is more important than it's ever been before in Star Wars Unlimited. The ability to go ahead.
Finish.
I was going to say the ability to sit down to evaluate the board at the start of a turn and rough out how many. It's very clear. How many points of damage do I need? Can I get there this round? How many actions is it going to take? Versus how many actions do I expect my opponent to need to do the same to me, and so on and so forth. And sometimes you have to be playing the mental chess of, okay, I'm in this round. I expect the game to end next round.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be claiming? Should I be claiming leaving units unattacked that are dealing damage that I don't need this round, that I will need next round, but I need to be the first to act next round? Like that kind of thing. You're right. It's so tight right now.
You sent me this video. There's a YouTube channel called +2, and he's some guy that he has a handful of videos up, but he thinks about the way that he talks about the game is it just strokes at how I want to think about the game in terms of math and numbers, and it ends on average with this leader. It ends on average of round 5.61.
Yeah,
and then this is what you're having to think. I don't know. Just the video is like a treatise on the new version of SWU versus the old version of SWU. It's about an hour listen. I think I'm 40 minutes in, but just listening to him talk about the game and how it's working now and how the numbers all work out, it's very pleasant for me to listen to. I think it's interesting because some of the conclusions that he gets to, one, it makes me want to play Lando because of the burst of resources to get the big guys out. And then two, it also is pretty amusing to me that if I think about all the things that he's saying about how the big guy that you just can't deal with, that plays right into what I've been trying to do this whole thing with my Rio deck. That is like nobody. I haven't made it good, like really good yet. But when it wins, people are just like, I can't do anything because your guy's too big. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting that I started with this Rio deck because Rio seems interesting and really hard to kill, and it fits right into what this guy was talking about.
Yeah, I'll link that video into the description. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, your strategy to win has to be faster than I think before. I think with the removal being gone, the games really don't stretch to 8, 9, 10 resources. I'm finding when I play on Carabast, it's like 6, 7. I went 8.
7.
I think
or
I
8
went
is
8
unusual.
like once all day.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty interesting. You have to have a strategy in your deck to do 30 damage by round 6.
Oh, 34.
30.
Yeah,
Yeah,
34.
that's such a good
34.
point. 34. Yeah,
Yep.
that's such a good point. I may be looking at that wrong, but yeah, 34. Like you've got to really have that in there, and it's fun. It's starting to feel. What I loved about Twin Suns is, there's more actions and there's more players, but the games don't go a lot of resources. So like you're winning with weird, goofy units sometimes, and like
that's true,
and things like that. And it's starting to give the Premiere is starting to give that same kind of vibe, where it's finishing up quickly, and it's weird combos and weird decisions that win you games. Claiming, like Wes said, claiming and not attacking with your 3 extra units is a value strategy.
Could be the right play.
If your next play is to flip your leader and to topple the summit or play Cinta so that you can get an attack out or whatever it is, like the options when you flip your leader because of plot and a few other things, like, and just the factor of the numbers.
Yeah.
The one thing you didn't mention, Trey, you said that you think ground aggro is dead. I think you need to play that Chewy yellow deck, bro. That 30 health Chewy yellow deck. That thing is wicked. Now, the
not
sequencing
really ground,
is. Yeah, it's not really ground. That's a good
really
point.
ground.
Most of
There
the
you
units
go.
are in space.
Not really ground.
That's a good
You
point.
have to be able to dodge the Sentinel on the ground to go aggro, which is space or Saboteur, but
there's
there aren't
not a lot
really
of
good
space.
Saboteur.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're right. Most of the battles being fought in the space. I would tell you if I was going to Atlanta, which you're already probably there.
True. If you're listening to this, you're probably already there or on the way.
You're probably already there. I hope you have a space deck, like,
Or a way to deal with it.
But I also think I think we'll see something in Atlanta that we're not ready for. These early sectors, I've noticed this is that some of the teams hold back their best deck for this event and just come out with a smoking hot deck. And then it just changes the meta almost overnight, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody like Bobby Sapphire or Woo or one of the garbage rollers, one of the team's peoples brings out a new leader and wins this thing, the next week in PQs, that would be the only deck you see. It'd be half the field. Like, it's going to be a crazy swing. I mean, so I'm hoping that we see something like that. I hope there's something out there that somebody's figured out that we haven't seen yet. That's, cool and fun. So hopefully we can see that this weekend.
That brings me to right before we hit record, we started to have a conversation, and then Wes and I were like, no, save it for the camera.
Oh.
So you talked about how you're not as excited about playing in a lot of these big tournaments because you don't want to slog through the metagame. Yeah. And I asked, do you think that it's this particular metagame is particularly grindy, or is it just the idea of once you have an established metagame, it's less exciting because it's just about the grind? So you were about to answer that, and then I cut you off and said, do it on camera, or Wes said, do it on camera.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it's so grindy. Like
but is it this particular one? Is it like every has there ever been a metagame that you didn't think was grindy and you were like, this is a fun metagame where I get to do things? Or is it just the fact that it is just the repetitions of this deck, the 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 decks that exist, and you have to know have put in the work and know the data and have that particular like know how to do everything ahead of time, and then you have to slog through it on the day? Or
It's
is
yeah, I
this one
mean,
in
100.
particular bad?
No, I think that's just how the meta is in general. Like I've been feeling this way for a few sets where I'm just gonna bring if I go to like a PQ or something like that, I'm just gonna bring a deck I want to play for the day. If I win, I win. I lose, I lose. I know that I don't put in enough time, and I don't know the sequencing well enough, and I make enough mistakes to know that making a top 8 for me at one of these PQs or something, or a sector or the top 16 or whatever they cut to, is impossible. Like it would have to be like the person in front of me like gets diarrhea every single game and I get auto put in. Like that would be my only like way. Like I've learned enough like on my what my skill level is right now is that I can pilot these meta decks, but I still don't understand all the time about how to stop the deck across from me, right? How to make the right counters. Sometimes I'll resource the wrong cards and I'll be on like turn 6 and I'll be like, shit, I needed that card. I resourced on 1.
Yeah.
So like, I still make a lot of those mistakes. So for me, I've been doing this the last 2 sets now. I mean, I didn't really get to play a lot of Secrets, but I played a lot of Legends, but Secrets I didn't get to play a lot of. But for the last few of these that I've gone to, I've taken just a deck that I wanted to play. And I've done okay, and I've had a good time, but I don't really want to slug through the meta. It's man, you got to put in so much time and so much effort to be so good at this game, and I don't have it, man. I just don't have it. But I love watching it, and I love looking at the decks. I'm playing the decks on Carabas, but like I played on Carabas yesterday, and I got smoked all day, like all day long. I played like 3 hours, and like I think I won like 3 games, and I was trying different meta decks and stuff like that. So my skill set isn't there. So if I was going to Atlanta, I'd bring something I want to play and something I want to have fun with. Like right now, I think my favorite deck to play is Tals in Yellow. I don't think it's a meta deck. I think it's a lower tier deck, but like I like the way it plays. I like the cards I get to play in it. Like I like the characters I get to play in it. So yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion on PQs now in these bigger tournaments. My skill level's not there. Like I can't even win my local $5 tournament, bro. Like I'm not winning no sector PQ.
Well, to talk about Trace Point and ground aggro and dealing with Sentinels, Talzin has a lot of really good tools to deal with the Sentinels between Shatterpoint and Assassins and her ability to shrink things. If you can put some damage into it and then she can come along and pop it and make it smaller, whatever. So that's a really good deck that has a ground aggro game as well. So.
Yeah, but
you've hit on
like every time.
Go ahead, Trey.
You've hit on exactly why I don't play in these big tournaments, because I don't have the amount of work that you have to put in before you get to the payoff of that one day where you perform. Not only do I not have the time, I've just lost interest in doing that. Just the grinding out all of the work that it requires to be that good on the day, and everything that you sit down and like that you're playing against somebody sits next to you across from you. You see their deck, and you kind of like exactly how the game is going to go, almost, but depending on what you draw. But then exactly what you need to play, what you need to like to put that level of work into it is just not fun for me anymore. I have too much other stuff going on in my life. So then I like slinging it at the $5 tournaments, because then I guess I have enough innate thinking power that I can kind of do it on vibes and win part of the time. So that makes me happy. But the big tournaments and the big slogs, I can't put that time in anymore. I don't want to.
And I think we're all three of us in the same boat on this. And it's one of the reasons that I enjoy limited play, right? Is that I'm required to make a decision. Here I'm presented with cards, build a deck out of this pile of jank, and go perform with it. And everyone is starting from the same 0. You have your knowledge of the cards, of the mechanics, of, in that particular set, some of the card interactions, and particularly good or good leaders, bad leaders, good cards, average cards, whatever. And you have to take all of that knowledge with you. And, that's going to change from set to set. And so you have to do a little bit of prep work, a little bit of thinking, maybe a little bit of strategizing, but just for that set. And it's always fun to open packs, right? It's always fun to open packs and say, I'm going to open packs and then I'm going to play. And then if I win, yay, and I had a great time. And if I lose, I had a great time when I opened cards today. It was not a wasted day, right? So I certainly
We
felt
need to
that way in
draft
Milwaukee. I agree.
We
Oh, I
should
love
draft more.
drafts.
Yeah. I should probably start hosting. Like Ball Deep has done some local draft hosting at his place. I should do some over here on occasion. I think
I
it'd be a lot of
wouldn't
fun.
know.
Whatever. like,
No, I haven't been invited to those. So
well,
that's why
okay.
I'm feigning being butthurt about it. So
I see
guys
what it
have
is.
fun.
Okay, all right. Well, you can take that up with him. I'm staying out of it. All right.
It's fine. It's fine.
I do want to highlight the Chewbacca deck that won in Austin, right? Because Jack had a lot of really interesting card choices in there, right? He had. I hang out in the Chewbacca yellow thread over on the KTOD Discord, and there's a lot of guys in there that have been, on that deck and talking it up and talking about it and strategy and play lines and what do you play. And the Ascension gun, Ascension cable, whatever it was a card that had come up a couple of times, and some people were like, yeah, and some people were like, no. I think it's a really strong card in that deck, the ability to give him more HP and give him Saboteur at the same time. If you can swing twice with Chewie in that deck in the early going, I think that's really interesting. I also think that there's a Chewbacca blue version out there right now that runs off Alliance Outpost that flips Chewie onto the board on turn 2, which can also put a lot of early pressure down. So we're in a weird space. Like, the game feels faster than ever. I won't say faster than ever, but fairly quick. But yet the fast deploy leaders. Where's Von Reg? Where's Kazuda? Nowhere to be found. They just don't exist. It's the six deploy leaders for whatever reason. Go ahead.
They had that article a while back about how they were recalibrating the game and they pushed everything towards the middle. So they took the big ones and the little ones and they shoved everything into that 5-6 space and
yet
the 6.
Look at the spoilers we're already getting for Lawless for Ashes of the Empire. Isn't that Palpatine a 7? Palpatine's a 7 deploy. Yeah. Luke is a 7 deploy. So, like, they say these things, but then are we actually doing it? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the way what they said is they want the game to play in the middle. And so if they're having a 7 flip, then the game is supposed to end when that guy flips if you're going to win with that guy.
Okay, in other words, that's supposed to be the big impactful
Yeah, that's the big impactful play, and that's
Yeah.
the end. So you're on the 7 turn, you flip that guy, thinking the game is over that turn, and that's pushed it towards the middle. And maybe those guys suck. I don't know.
We won't know for a while, but that's interesting. Okay. But I find it really fascinating that we're in a place where the game typically is ending, most average games now ending on the 6 or 7 resource round. And yet the leaders that come out earliest are basically, other than Chewbacca, basically nowhere to be found. They just don't exist. Cal Kestis was never amazing really to begin with. But Von Reg and Kazuda have both seen play in and out of the games. They've had some placements at PQs. They've had some performances. They're not bad cards. They're not bad leaders. But they're not there. Sebulba.
Oh, Von Reg is terrible.
Sebulba's not out there. Right? Go ahead.
No, Sebulba's not out there. Von Reg is terrible. But Kaz is pretty good because he helps mitigate some badness. But Von Reg is a fast leader that plays slow, which is terrible because it's just not going to win.
Help me understand what you mean when you say that.
Well, a fast leader, so you want to when you are playing and you want to win quickly, you want to take the initiative and you want to hit them immediately. And then if they kill your guy, that's fine. You got your damage in. You throw the next guy down, and then you do it all over again next turn. That's what you're trying to do with your aggressive deck. Von Reg, in order to use Von Reg's ability, you have to play a guy first to get his bonus to hit for harder. So I play my guy gets bigger, and then you kill it.
And then you kill it.
So he wants to play more slowly than just snatch the initiative and then attack immediately.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's why he's terrible.
It just feels very paradoxical to me, right? That the game has somehow sped up, and yet 6 deploy leaders are more popular than they've ever been in 2 years. We're in year 3 now of the game. So
it makes more sense if you just say they chopped the end off of the game. They chopped the end off of the game. They chopped the beginning off of the game. Now it's all in the middle.
I think to me, out of this entire conversation, that the thing that sticks out the most, the biggest problem the game has right now is your Sentinel problem, right? The blue, green, white Sentinel package is absolutely stupid. And there is no There's no villain equivalent to it, right? So villains can't compete in this way. In
No,
fact,
but you don't want everything to play the same way.
no,
Like
I
your heroes
agree.
have Sentinel, the
But
villains have the Vader space.
my point is simply that villain sentinels have basically more or less just kind of dried up, right? They just there just aren't very many, whereas hero has access to all of these fabulous ones in the middle, in the 3 to 5 resource range, right? And like one of them is neutral, cheer it kind of. Okay, so both sides technically have access to cheer it, but like beyond that, ain't much there. Now next set we've seen one spoiled, they're getting a decent one, Invader, but like yikes, it's wild right now. So let's
The
go ahead.
game is missing. The game is missing Rivals Fall.
Yes,
There's no fear anymore when you deploy your 6 cost leader. There's no fear. You have nothing to fear of. What can take him out?
well, and it goes beyond that too, right? Because I think the game is also missing confiscate, because now
Yeah.
you can, putting your upgrades on a non-leader unit is still somewhat risky. There's ways to interact with non-leaders units. I can tree remembers, I can shatterpoint, I can whatever. There's ways to interact with those cards. But if I flip out a leader, say what?
You can bounce them.
Exactly right. Or I can arrest them and make your upgrade go to the discard pile. And it only takes the 1 turn, but it gets rid of the upgrade. So functionally, it works like upgrade removal. But I can't do that to leaders, right? So if I start stacking upgrades on my leader, it gets even sillier. Or if my leader himself is an upgrade, like Luke, that can't be removed. I've said this on a couple other places in the various Discords that I hang out in. I think a card like Confiscate needs to return, but it needs to come back at a higher price point. I think 1 cost is too cheap for a neutral card. If you look at, for that's just upgrade removal. If you look at neutral cards historically, because you're not being penalized for having to play in certain aspects, the card costs a little extra. The easy example I can give is if you look at the Ando Commission 4/3 Sentinel out of set 6 and put him next to the Echo-based Defender, it's the same card, other than the fact the Echo-based Defender is cheaper because he's locked behind green-white, whereas the Ando Commission is neutral. So Confiscate, costing what it did, was just silly. However, if you reprint a card that has the same or similar functionality, but let's say it costs 3, right? That seems pretty reasonable. And I think a card like that would absolutely see play. People
I kind of like where it is. I like where upgrade hate is, because upgrade hate is different depending on what color you're playing. Either upgrade.
Some colors don't have it at all.
What color doesn't have it at all?
Green.
Well, green has sentinels to soak up your upgrades,
but they can't be removed, right?
Okay. But they can be, it's not about removing them, it's about negating their effect on the game. So if I can throw down a sentinel that soaks up your guy, I mean, green guys green decks win all the time now.
Sure. I'm not saying it's a game breaking problem. I'm just saying that it's not available to every color, right? And cards like Condemn, right? Sometimes I don't necessarily want to remove your upgrades on your units. I want to remove your upgrades on my units. And if I'm playing, depending on the colors that I've mixed together, how does that work exactly, right? Do I have to bounce my own unit to get rid of your Condemn? Yeah, it could happen. I could beguile my own unit to do that, but what a pain in my ass.
You can play the thing that's Rio that bounces your own dude and replays him. Like, there's stuff that exists. It's available to every deck, pretty much every deck, unless you're going way out of your way to play just green or something like that. You have I just like that they're different when there's not the same card in every color. If there was the red Confiscate, and then there's the same card in green, and then the same card in blue, and the same card in yellow, that's just boring to me. I like the idea that red has point or either as an ability or a card that just says kill that upgrade, but then yellow has bouncer or capture the guy, and that kills the upgrade. And then blue has like your guy gets -X -0, and that deals with the upgrade on its own. So I like that there are all these different ways to deal with it, and every color has its own flavor on how to do it.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I just think that it's very uneven the way it's kind of distributed. And admittedly, that's the other problem, is that some of it is not obvious. Like I think of Arrest as a great upgrade removal card, right? Mm-hmm. But not everybody because it doesn't explicitly say the words defeat and upgrade. Players don't process it that way.
Mhm.
So that's
Right.
also some of what you're up against when you have this conversation.
Mhm.
Anyhow, I feel like we beat the Premier conversation horse to death for a while. Let's talk
Another
about
thing. No, I'm
okay,
kidding.
okay,
No, it was a total joke.
okay.
We've been going on for a
let's
while.
let's talk about Eternal. Right now, I don't know about you guys. I have not been particularly interested in trying Eternal. I have zero interest in it because I feel like it's completely borked the way it's currently designed. However, FFG this week began to take steps to kind of make some changes to what they're seeing out of the Eternal meta, right? War Juggernaut, IG 2000 going on the suspension list. And they're changing how they're doing the suspension list for Eternal. What they told us was these cards were going to go on the suspension list now, and they're going to remain there until the day that Set 9 releases in November. So basically, effectively 6 months. So these cards are going to
Is
be
it
suspended.
6 months? I thought it was the next one.
They
Is
said
it
they
two
said
sets?
they said
Did I misread
until
that?
they said until Homeworlds releases, which will be November, these cards will be on the suspension list. And then when Homeworlds drops, they will come off the suspension list. And that this was their philosophy going forward, that when they're going to suspend cards in Eternal, and they didn't say this, but possibly this philosophy will extend to Premier as well when the time comes. They're going to put an expiration date on it. I really like this.
I think that is really interesting and cool. And the term suspension I think is a little silly instead of just because I don't think it's silly that as a term, but like that they're so particular about not using the word ban because they wanted it to be possible to be a temporary thing that you could take it off, as if the term unban doesn't exist. You can ban and unban things, but whatever. But I'm a little less militant or upset about it now because now it's still silly to draw that distinction, but not as silly to say suspension. But it's a really interesting way to approach a ban list. That's something I haven't played every game, but of the games that I've played, I've never seen anyone where every suspension or every ban has an automatic timer on the end of it or tacked onto it. I think that's cool.
Ian, what are your thoughts on this one, buddy?
I have nothing. I
Okay.
have paid very little attention to Eternal.
Okay.
I had heard about banning cards when I heard it was Eternal. I was like, oh, it's got to do something with Django. Totally
Yeah,
does.
it does.
I
So
watched a couple of games. Like somebody streamed one.
They have streamed. There have been a couple of Eternal events streamed.
Somebody
They streamed one
some
off the
sort of
West
Eternal.
Coast and somewhere
And
else.
I watched a Django versus Gar, which was a pretty interesting matchup. And then I watched a Django versus Yoda Red, which
Okay.
they were both interesting matchups. Django won both of them, but it's so many cards, it's so complicated. It's so all over the place. I barely have enough time for Premier and Twin Suns. I have no time for Eternal.
So what do you think about their choice to instead, like in Premiere when Django was a problem, they'd ban Django, but now
Ian's favorite card.
Oh, and Triple Dark Raid.
And TDR, Triple Dark Raid.
That was different, but what do you think of their approach of instead of banning Django, the leader, now they're banning the things that do the mass pings that turn Django on so that they can keep the leader around? Do you have any thoughts on the difference between banning Django versus banning the things that Django really abuses?
I think it's interesting that they did the cards over the leaders, or over the leader. We'll see if it works. I still think Django is, totally busted, but you did take his two best weapons away. I mean, those are really hard cards to overcome with the amount that they exhaust, and exhaust is such a powerful interaction in this game. I think eventually Django's going to be on that list. I just think there are certain leaders that, like, they're just like the original Boba. There's just certain ones that are just so overpowered for what they are and what they do. They would never print a leader that gave you a free exhaust ping now. Look how much it costs. It always costs you something. It costs you the force. Yeah, the client, right? You have to kill a token. Look at C-3PO. You have to already have an exhausted unit and it costs one.
Yeah.
The Cal Kestis, you have to use the force to exhaust something. Like, there's a cost to exhaust now, and when it's just doing damage, like, that can be indirect damage. Like, there's so many indirect cards. It can be so many different ways to exhaust down a unit. It's just, I don't know. I think Django's he'll end up on that list eventually. The Fets are so great, man. They're just dominating everything. The Fets.
I'm going to be really interested to see how Eternal evolves. And I like you, I'm not interested in playing it, but being a spectator in this game is really interesting to me because the Twin Suns cards that are going to hit in a few weeks, we're only about 3 weeks away from those cards
Oh
coming
yeah,
in.
those are legal in Eternal.
Those are legal in
Oh,
Eternal. And some of that shenanigans, I think, is going to make Django look like a casual walk in the park.
Man, some of those triple aspect cards they've shown are
so
insane.
there's going to be some really interesting combos and things cooking up in Eternal. Those Twin Suns decks, I think, are going to shake up Eternal in ways that nobody can really predict right now. I'm glad Eternal's here. I'm glad there's people that support it. I suspect for me, my only dabbling in it, my only interest in it is I love my Vader one, right? My SOR Vader. I want to play double red SOR Vader. I'll probably build an Eternal version of him that I will maintain and keep on the shelf if somebody wants to play Eternal. But it's always going to be the kind of deck that I take to a big event. I take it to an SQ or a PQ, not an SQ or a regional, and as a side event deck, right? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just want to play some games.
Just play some games with it. Just have a good time. Just play cards that I don't get to play anymore.
I think it'll be fun as a casual, just like you said. I think it'll be fun as a casual format to play the old cards.
Yes, that's what I want out of it.
Yeah, and I think it'll also be a lot more interesting further down the line. I mean, basically, you have the cards we just got, and then everything that we've been playing the whole time of the game. So it's not much different than what we had 2 months ago.
Right.
And so I think it'll be much more when you get another year or two into it, and you've got this many sets that have now rotated out along with all the new sets. Then I think it will have much more of a pull on me, if anything.
Yep. Trey, we got some fan mail with an interesting question. Why don't you catch us up on this? Because I think you get all of these, and you have to tell us about them. So catch us up.
Yeah, I forward them to you, and I don't have the email in front of me.
Okay.
But his name is Michael. And he asked us what we thought the best set for limited was. He wanted us to just give our thoughts on what was our favorite set for limited. And you and I have been discussing this, and it came in, and like it was not just another piece of mail. It asked a very interesting question, and we've had lots of discussion.
Yeah, we
have
have
about it. So
yeah, I love the question so much. I made notes almost immediately. I was like, oh, what are my thoughts on this? Like, that's actually a really interesting thing.
I wish you guys could see the show notes because you have like a little note about the question. You have Ian has like 4 paragraphs of stuff, and then I have like a couple of sentences, and then Trey's just going to ad-lib the whole thing. So let's go, Ian. What do you got for us, buddy?
I mean, so I just went down set by set. So I'll go real fast. Like set 1, Spark, I never got to play.
Okay.
By the time I started playing with other people and found my place to play, packs were super scarce. Like Vader was like $100. Like you just couldn't get packs. So we did a couple of drafts, but I never did a sealed.
Did you? Okay, but we were drafting SOR monthly. You were drafting it, right? You got to draft those, right?
I got to draft that, but my first sealed I ever played, or limited, or whatever it's called, was at Trey's house during
set 2 pre-release.
Set 2 pre-release. So that was pretty fun. I did terrible, and I built a really crappy deck, and it took me the entire hour that it gave us to build. So it was interesting, like, because this is my first card game, I didn't even realize like they did stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was super fun opening the new packs and playing with them and like watching other people play cards and then, picking it up and having to read it because you have no idea what it does.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Set 3, I just thought was garbage. I remember hating it. Like I just felt like every time I sat down, I was getting Django'd to death.
So one of the things I think about set 3, in limited play, I think set 3 was actually, if set 3 was actually really well balanced limited play, except for like the 3 leaders that were terrible. If they had not, it's not just that like the cards themselves, when you apply them to Premiere, they were terrible because they didn't stack up against what was already available and what came after them. They just weren't any good as cards, most of them. But in limited play, I think it was Anakin and it was a little bit Django and a little bit Quinlan. Like other than that, mostly it was Anakin though. But Like if
Yeah.
those were the bugaboos for playing that set. But if nobody opened an Anakin, it was actually a really fun set and very well balanced to play against itself.
That was my problem with Twilight, right? Twilight was easily the worst limited experience the game has had to date. Because if you didn't open an Anakin, you basically were hosed. If any one person at your sealed or in your draft pod opened an Anakin, you were pretty screwed. If nobody did, it was actually really interesting. I talked to somebody, I forget if it was a Galactics. I was having this conversation. It might have been just in Milwaukee a few weeks ago. We were having this exact same conversation about Twilight and Limited. And they said they had finally reached a point where anytime anybody opened an Anakin in that, it was immediately replaced with Ahsoka out of the starter deck. And you got to play that later instead. And they were like, when we did that, it changed the entire set and it was way more fun. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Now I actually almost want to go buy a box of Twilight and draft it again with that change, because I think it would be really interesting. But yeah, Twilight was it was a miserable experience.
I remember not being able to build very good decks and not having a very good time. Like I remember just getting slaughtered like over and over again. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I would say JTL is probably the first set that I've started figuring out how to build decks from Limited. But I will say that like it was very like if somebody built a good Luke Green deck or opened the cards to build a good Luke Green deck, then you ran over everyone. So though I kind of liked it the best, I thought that the Luke Green combo was just too much.
I understand what you're saying, but I kind of disagree a little bit, because you have to remember the tournament where that was the worst offender was where you opened a whole box of cards and built a 30 card deck out of that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Admittedly, as good as like Luke is not bad in that format. Do not get me wrong, but like a lot of the shenanigans that you can get up to when you have that kind of card pool are different than when you only open 6 packs and you've got your Luke and you've got to figure it out.
I remember just having the most fun with that though. Like overall, like I thought drafting that set and just overall that set for Limited was really fun. Set 5, I mean, it was Space Wizards the whole way through, so that's my thing, and I love the Space Wizards. So I know you guys hated it, absolutely hated it. I thought the games were a little more sloggy. They played pretty well, but because of certain removal cards, they weren't like as like the removal cards were just so overpowered that Protect the Pod, Whirlwind of Force, like those
Shatterpoint
just would totally dominate out. But I thought playing the Space Wizards was really fun. Like whether you played
gameplay was fine. The theme was Space Wizards, and that's my least favorite thing about Star Wars. So
I mean, but counter that when you go to set 6, like that was my least favorite.
So
I thought it played. I thought it played the best. Limited wise, I think
taxation.
I think Limited wise, Secrets of Power is fairly even. Like it's played pretty well, and it wasn't terrible. But like there was no like card I was like super excited to play, or a leader I was like, yay, this leader's awesome. It's like I'm gonna try C-3PO. Like you just it was. I don't know. It seemed balanced to me, but like I just none of the cards excited me. So
uninspiring.
I think uninspired. The theme is what hurt it there.
Set 5. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Let's stop and unpack this for a minute. Right. Set 5. I personally thought I'm with Trey. Space Wizards is not my favorite thing about Star Wars. I really still enjoyed how the set was designed. I thought the Force token mechanic was really good. My frustration, and we talked about this a lot on the podcast, was that basically yellow was virtually unplayable. Like it was almost like a dead color in Limited. You just couldn't, right? Okay. Outside of a couple of oddball cases where you draw specific, like there was a guy at that Limited event that we covered in for Legends of the Force in Dallas, Ian. He made top 8 on Cal Kestis all day. Why? Because he opened a Qui-Gon and an Anakin out of his 6 packs. That's why.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So like when you do that, you can make yellow work. Otherwise, the yellow leaders were not good, really. And on either side, it wasn't just a hero villain thing. They were all crap. Okay. And And then the color itself was at a disadvantage because of how many yellow events they had printed. It had fewer units available to it innately. And that automatically puts you on the back foot when you're trying to build a deck. So I enjoyed playing set 5. I didn't like the way that set was designed for the limited environment. It was a miss, I think. Set 6, I always felt like the card design and the way the set was designed was much better balanced. I did not feel like there were unplayable leaders in that set. However, my frustration with Secrets of Power was a similar frustration that I had to Twilight, which was basically if you weren't playing Leia, you were already a step behind anybody else who was playing Leia.
I don't think it was as egregious as Anakin though. I beat Leia regularly in that one. She was powerful. She was hard to. I won much more easily when I played Leia,
and that was the thing. To me, that's
but
it's
the thing. It's not somebody opening Anakin and they've all, unless they're just absolute trash as a player, they've won the pod. Like everybody else is playing for second. But she was definitely better than most of the other ones.
That was my frustration, right? It was that you had if you were to make this tier list, you had a bunch of honestly A tier leaders in that set from a limited perspective, but then you had an S tier leader that only had one leader on it. Now she was common, you might pull one, but if you didn't, you had a very, very difficult challenge in front of you. And you go look at the top 8 of the limited events that were played during Secrets of Power, the big regional in Milwaukee, some of the other stuff, almost every single one of them was won by a Leia deck, right? Certainly the vast majority of them were by a notable margin. So that to me tells me that, you done messed up on leader design again, fellas. That frustrates me when that happens.
I bet it was they all had 1 in a million in them. It wasn't Leia. It's just they were playing Blue Hero and they had 1 in a million. And see,
look, not everybody can be as awesome as I can. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so now let's continue. Lawless Time. Go ahead, Ian.
So, Lawless Time is pretty fun. I really enjoyed it, but I think Val Red seemed unbalanced. I just always seem to get crushed by Val Red. And the time I did best, I played Val Red, and I had a pretty good Val Red deck, and I did great. But I think overall it was probably the hardest to build a deck. And what I really struggled with is 2 drops. A lot of games I lost because I just didn't have a 2 drop, because I didn't pull one. And, I'm putting in as many as I can and I'm splashing out a 2 drop sometimes just to save my game, which is not, feels terrible.
Not where you want to be.
Kind of why it's not where you want to be, but it's kind of why that base is there. So the deck building was much harder, but it was really enjoyable, especially when you could find a deck and a couple of colors that work together and play some of those triple aspect cards or the dual aspect cards. So I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. As I get better at it and as I've done it more, I've enjoyed it a lot more. So I think the set drafts better than it plays limited. So far, I've really enjoyed draft in it.
Okay.
But
see,
I really like the limited.
I think it's much worse in draft. Not much worse, but my opinion of Lawless Time.
I liked it better in draft.
In draft, it feels a little too much like you're on rails to me. Like there are certain cards, certain decks that you have to build. I'm in these colors. This pack comes by. It has a card that has those 2 colors on it. Therefore, I have to take that card. Like it feels the card selection process feels a little more on rails than I really goes into my top tier sets. It's fun. I enjoy playing it. I really like the challenge. I enjoyed the challenge of opening 6 packs and trying to lay out cards. And how am I going to lay this grid out? What am I going to do with all these? And so the deck building process itself has much more interesting to me on a sealed for this than it is other ones, because I got to figure it out. I got to go through so many more things. But the draft is a lot of fun. I don't know yet if there's a dominant leader. I haven't played it enough for that. But the actual selecting of the cards feels a little, when I say on rails, it feels a little more like I'm on a roller coaster and the game is telling me what I have to do instead of really giving me a lot of choices to go my own way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
I'll say I'm kind of in the same boat as Trey on this one. I prefer sealed to draft in Lawless. Not that I think the draft is bad. I prefer sealed because I find I've got these 6 packs and this stack of triple aspect cards. How do I pull this pile of jank together and come up with something cohesive that works? Draft for me is it's way more challenging. For starters, I felt a little bit of what Trey's feeling with, like, okay, this is my leader set, so like I got to be looking, like, there's certain double aspect cards come by, I have to take this. Like, I can't, this is, I can't miss this. The other thing is that it's very difficult to make a change. One of the things about drafting the game live is the ability to kind of read what's going around the table and go, okay, I want it to be, I'm just going to say, I wanted to be in yellow villain. That's what I wanted. I pulled a client and I wanted to play that. That was my goal. But as these cards go by, every pack has got 2 red villain cards in it. It's clear. We're mostly done with the first pack. I've still got red villain cards. Nobody's drafting red villain. Why don't I make an audible and try to start picking up red villain cards? Because 2 more packs coming. Like, maybe that's a thing. But maybe I've let some really good red yellow stuff go by. Like, it's very, once in those first few cards, let's say the first 5 to pick a number, you're gonna decide, you're gonna see what's the packs offer you and start pulling cards. But it's very difficult to change course downstream of that if the packs going around the table are telling you, hey, you might want to try this because nobody's taking these cards.
So overall, then, Wes, what is your favorite set, and what is your least favorite set?
Least favorite is Twilight. It's not even a competition. Like, I went to PAX Unplugged right during Twilight, and that weekend I played, I think, 1 sealed and 3 draft, and it was like, I had fun meeting people and playing the game. But the games themselves were not particularly enjoyable. I played Wat Tambor Blue, one of them. It was miserable. It was awful. It was terrible.
Everything about that set, it basically reset the whole game.
It was awful.
It ran so many people off. Like, the game starts out, there's always this burst of people, and then it goes down because you can't get product, and then it starts creeping back up. Yeah. But then, like, the game just gave away so much of its player base and so much of the momentum that it had from that set, from every aspect.
And financially, it was a disaster for, like, every store that bought a lot of it, right? So yeah, Twilight takes the cake here, and it's not even close.
Right, and your favorite?
SOR. It's a multiple. This is a multi-part answer for me. For starters, there's always that energy of new game, new cards, new community, like old faces, but new game, new community. A lot of our local Destiny players came back for that game. They're the ones that suckered me into coming into this. They were like, "You'd really like this game if you tried it," and I'm like, "Oh my god, you're probably right." Crap, that kind of thing. Trey, you're on this wagon. This is partly your fault.
I know.
Exactly. you and Mendoza and a couple other people. And so, but also, like, I went to at least 3 pre-releases. We drafted that set every month. And so we got the opportunity to draft Spark of Rebellion, what a lot of people never did. And in my opinion, there were no leaders in that set that were garbage in Limited, right? I played the very first pre-release I ever played at in Spark Rebellion. I played Jin Urso. Jin Urso is widely considered one of the worst leaders in the set. Like, she basically never saw a premiere play, not meaningful premiere play. And yet I think I went 3-1 with her, right? And my one loss was a close watch. It was it was perfectly viable in that set. I drafted her at least once, right? And so even the worst leader in Spark of Rebellion Limited was viable and playable into the card pool that she was in. And to me, that is like the hallmark of a really, really good set. For my money, I would put Jump to Lightspeed probably right behind that, because I'm a space unit guy. I am a spaceship, right? I'm a spaceship unit enjoyer. I want to be playing Death Triangles. I wish I could get a Death Triangle deck together that I liked and worked for me. I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe someday. But the theme of JTL really sold me. I love that set for the theme. I thought it drafted well. I thought the sealed environment was pretty good. I didn't feel like, again, leaders that didn't feel impactful in Premiere on the table. Rose Tico is an easy example. Rose Tico is a monster in JTL Limited. She is, I won't say she's broken, but she is a very, very strong leader in that format. Lando Calrissian, same way. if you understand how Lando works and draw into a couple of cards and can build that deck and kind of work it, Lando can be a really good deck in that limited format. So, to me, JTL is just just below Spark of Rebellion, like just below it. Those are definitely my top two. What about you, Trey?
So we're apparently the same person. So I have. It depends on whether you think is the question what is the best play,
or what is my favorite?
My favorite one.
Yeah,
because I think I think Spark of Rebellion is the best playing one by a smidge over JTL, and part of the reason that I think that is because I think that was their home run shot out of the gate to make everybody appreciate the game.
Yeah.
And they succeeded.
They hit it out of the
park. They sold a bunch of cards. They hit it out of the park. And every card and every set since then has been a twist on Spark of Rebellion. Spark of Rebellion has pay for, kill this dude. Like a blue card, pay for, kill this dude.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the next set had a smuggle on it because it had to fit. It's all every card after that.
Some variant
filled
thereof.
That role is some variant of a Spark of Rebellion card. It's a variant of a Spark of Rebellion card to match the theme of whatever the current set is. So it is just the most vanilla of sets. There's not really a theme other than Star Wars. It's not smuggling. It's not politics. It's not space wizards. So I think it is the purest form of this game, and I think it's the most well-designed set, and so it is the best playing one. My favorite is Jump to Lightspeed because I am also a spaceship enjoyer. And they also just did a really good job with it.
They really did.
It was so
a lot of fun.
It's a great
So
set.
I think JTL and Spark Rebellion are S tier. I don't know that there's an A tier. Top B tier would probably be Lawless Time, and then bottom B tier would be Secrets of Power and Space Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else below that is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not a tier low enough for Twilight in my book. Like it's just, it is,
right.
It is the worst. It is the worst limited sealed and draft experience I've ever had in SWU. I hope it's the worst I ever had. I don't ever want it to be that bad again. Please no. Please no.
Agreed. Please no. I don't.
Please no. Please no.
I want to continue to playing the game. I don't want it to go out of business because you screwed it. It's Fallen Empires is what it is.
Oh,
it is absolutely Fallen Empires.
I understood that reference. Wow.
Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know, that's a Magic set from way back in the mid to late '90s that they got too big for their britches. They made a bad set and they
overprinted the hell out of it.
They grossly. You can still buy a box of this set for like $50.
Yeah, like 35 years later. Like it's been out of print that long. It's crazy. Yeah, it was, and the cards were terrible cards.
But again, they were decent with each other. But when you put them in, it is exactly Twilight. Is what this is.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. Well, speaking of new sets, guys, we got our first glimpse of the next set in this past week or so. Last week, I believe, they came in and they spoiled, as predicted, they spoiled the Spotlight leaders for the next set. Trey's already shaking his head. Okay, I'm going to be curious to see this. And a few things they've kind of started trickling out. Have you had a look? And what do you think, Ian?
Super excited for Palp. He's Sith.
Well, so was
I've been trying to build a blue-yellow Sith deck for forever now.
I was like, so was the green
and
Palp out of set one.
Finally, I really like playing Talzin because I get to play all the cool Siths and Shin Fury.
We
and
don't have a
cool
yellow
cards
Sith
like
leader.
that.
That's a good point.
There's been no yellow Sith leader, and that's where a lot
true.
of the other good Sith cards are. So as soon as
fair.
I saw his Sith tag, I didn't care about anything else. I was like, yes, I can finally build my evil Space Wizard deck. So I'm super excited for that. I think the set looks okay so far. It's hard to tell. I mean,
it's too early to make that call for me.
20 cards or something like that. Yeah. I didn't think either leader was really fantastic, but normally the spot deck lights really aren't. So, I guess time will tell. But I'm super excited that Darth Malak is, I think, going to be playable finally. So I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, finally.
Well, no, I mean he's meant to play with Revan because he's cost 5 and Revan flips on 5.
But Revan's crap.
Revan's not crap. He's just not like meta, right? Like or whatever. Have you ever played or played into somebody who's built the crazy expensive version of Revan Blue?
No.
Okay, I need to show you that deck.
Luna
Luna had one for a while. That deck is mean. It is brutal. It can be
It doesn't win all that much.
It doesn't win. It doesn't win every game, right? But it is insane the stuff that deck can get up to. It's a lot of fun. Okay,
It
all
feels
right.
very Sithy.
And now Trey, you were shaking your head. You disagree on this assessment.
I the cards are fine. I mean, it looks decent. I disagree with the concept that you have to spoil cards like this soon after
early.
a set is over.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
so early.
Stop.
Okay.
Just enjoy what you got, people. Enjoy what you got. Do some more exploring of the existing set and save this. Start releasing these in June. And when the cards drop, when we go to the pre-release, there should be some cards that we don't know what they are. That's all I'm saying.
They definitely disagree with you on that last one. They definitely disagree with you on the last one.
I absolutely know that I'm disagreed with here. It's a difference of opinion, and I don't get what I want. That they drive hype to drive the dollar, and it's just not fun for me. I enjoy the anticipation. I enjoy spending more time with the cards we have. So
I'm not really spending time with this. I looked at it, went, okay, that's interesting. This looks cool. For me, the most interesting part of this, right, with a name like Ashes of the Empire, you could, what are we looking at? Like, what kind of cards?
Yeah.
What kind of time period are we focusing on? I was expecting, early,
Mando.
either Mando or even up to First Order cards, like First Order born out of the ashes of the Empire. So maybe I might finally see some more First Order cards from my girl Phasma, right? Who haven't been able to play because they knifed her in the back and left her dead on the side of the road. And maybe they're still there. We haven't seen them yet, but the title has me. When I saw the title, I was like, okay, what are we actually calling the set about? The Spotlight decks very clearly built around the confrontation at the end of Return of the Jedi, right? The throne room confrontation, the Battle of Endor. We've got a new executor, that kind of thing, and a new token, yet another token. Whatever.
I like that. I like that I can make a new
token
and put it on Etsy. That makes me happy.
I think for me, a couple of things perked, made my ears perk up. Some yellow Imperial stuff. There's very little Imperial cards in Villain Yellow. They exist, but it's a very short list compared to the ones in the other colors. The Vader Anakin, the straight up duality of the 4/6 Sentinel Vader and the 6/4 hero Saboteur Anakin, I thought was a really cool kind of dichotomy. I liked those cards. It's a neat concept. I love seeing some more green Imperial officials. I still feel like the official keyword shenanigans out of Secrets of Power has some legs. So there's some little tidbits in here that the deck building juices in my brain kind of tingled a little bit and went, all right, I see where you're going. Let's see more. So I am curious. I will be very, very glad to see if there are some First Order cards in this set. I don't care what color they are. Just show me something that shows that you still know Phasma exists and still wants to be relevant in the game, because some of us like her. But yeah, I think it's too early to judge a set, but I think they've chosen an interesting time period. I think it's going to be fun to see where they go with it. So, well, guys, we're getting up on time here. Should we wrap it up and call it a night? Huh?
I think so. I'm kind of talked out. Ian?
Oh, I'm ready.
Ian's ready to go get some sleep. He's kind of fade.
5 a.m.
He's kind of fading a little bit over there. I can see him kind of dozing off at his desk a little bit. All right, guys. Well, listen, with that, we appreciate you guys tuning in, joining us for this week's episode. We'll be back in 2 more weeks with a brand new one, episode 31 on the block, as we get a little closer to the Twin Suns deck release. Please throw us a like, subscribe, rating, whatever platform you listen on. If you have some feedback for us, our mailbag is always open. Mailbag at onthebutton.xyz. Or this week's address, Trey, is going to be...
Well, see, it was such a great question. I feel we should honor the person that sent it. It's just Michael at onthebutton.xyz.
I love it.
Will work.
We'll make him an honorary... Since he gave us such a great topic, we'll make him an honorary podcast member for the week. So there we go. So Michael... Michael, the traditional spelling, Michael at onthebutton.xyz. Either one of those will get it to our mailbag, and we would love to get some more feedback from you guys. This is a great topic, guys. If you have other topics that you would like us to explore or bloviate about, believe me, we will probably not turn you down. We can talk for a long time about all kinds of crazy stuff.
I was thinking the word opine, but bloviate was so much better. Wow, I'm a big language person, and bloviate was such a good word there.
You can high five me later, Trey. You can high five me later.
Okay.
All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, We're out. Peace. You guys have a great weekend. If you're going to Atlanta, good luck, and we'll talk to you again in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Crush it.